We're recording. Hi. Welcome to Baba's Interviews, Dylan. This is an interview project for people who took unconventional career paths. I have a few questions. Can we know about you?
Yeah, of
Hi.
course.
So, what are you working on right now? How would you describe what you are doing at this moment?
I'm doing multiple things at the moment, but the primarily thing is that I'm being an extended reality developer. So working with augmented reality on phones and virtual reality headsets to make basically custom environments and experiences.
Mm-hmm. My first question is about your educational background.
Mm-hmm.
What did you study or before college were you already interested in these kind of developments? How was that educational route shaped for you?
Yeah, for me, before I went to college, I was always more on the technical side, so tinkering with computers. I was really into gaming and also really liked VR gaming, so that's probably where the VR came from. And then when I started studying, I started doing game design at the HKU, so the University of Arts in Utrecht.
Ah, you're in Utrecht.
That's right nearby. And I was always thinking like, oh, I don't like coding, it's just sitting behind a desk and coding, would it be nice? And then after half a year I switched to game development, which is the more coding and programming side, since I felt like I could realize more of my design ideas using coding than the other way around, since otherwise I would have great ideas but I couldn't really realize them. So then I switched to game development, and after my second year I probably focused primarily on virtual reality, and then augmented reality came by, and now mixed reality as well.
I would expect most of the people do augmented reality first because it's easier to access with smartphones, and then that was the unique route that I want to ask about. When you are creating games, do you remember in your studies you had a game and it was really fun to create? What was it about?
I think the one that stuck with me the most, I've made a lot of games during my studies, but one that stuck with me is Nowhere in Sight, and it's not a VR game, but it was one where you had to, with a button, snap your fingers in the game, and then you could see with echolocation. So if you didn't make any sound, you didn't see anything, so it was just a blank screen.
Okay.
And when you made sounds, you saw the environment brighten up, and then it would dim down again as well, as you were silent for longer.
What was the goal of the game?
It was to solve a small mystery. So it was mainly getting out of the current room, and spoiler alert, you had to discover that your mother was a cannibal, but you could never see it because you were blind and had to see via echolocation.
Okay.
So you couldn't see what you were eating.
Okay, that's really interesting game.
Yeah, it was really cool to make as well.
Okay, so to have a good game, what do you need? For example, I think it requires a lot of storytelling knowledge. Like, how would you describe to creating a game or a VR game? Does it different than creating a normal game?
I think VR differs quite a bit. The initial thing is that for many regular flat screen games, you start with designing a world and the player can do this in that world. But for VR, I like to focus on the player or user first. So then I'm like, oh, you're a user in this environment, and then you can see or do X or Y. So you design more from a user perspective, where games often are more from a world building perspective. That's for bigger games. Of course, you have also many smaller game projects which are mainly focused on interactions. But if it's a bit more story-based, I kind of switch the perspective on the design of the game.
Yeah, it's very user-centric.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to know about, let's say, after graduation. What did you started doing, and how have you, like, after graduation, usually people think, oh, what I'm going to do with my life. Did you had that phase? What was your route? What happened?
I had it a little bit. One thing which was nice during my studies as well, and afterwards I work on tools for Unity, so a game engine, and that was something I was selling already, so that was just a small side business, I guess, to make and sell tools. So that was still ongoing, and I spent quite some time on that. And next to that, I was also trying to figure out where to work, because I knew I wanted to work with more immersive or new technologies. And I knew I wanted to be creative, so I already had a bit of a path. It wasn't like I'm fully going in blind, but it was hard to find where to work. So I worked for a few months at SURF. They are an educational institution managing many different universities. And there I was more busy with writing some white papers on brain-computer interfaces and supercloud.
Cool. Yay.
So that's really interesting, honestly. And next to that, I also made a small proof of concept there, which I did on a freelance basis later. So that was nice to make a setup while working there for the white paper, since I just had extra time there.
Now you have your own company.
Yeah, now I have my own company.
What's the name of the company?
It's Dunk Technologies.
Dunk Technologies. That sounds familiar from internet.
Yeah.
Can we know about how did you selected that name?
Yeah, it started with YouTube. I've been working on YouTube channels since I was 12 or 13 or something. And I was really into basketball and still am. And I started with the name Dr. Dunk. It was more gaming focused, tried to be the greatest Let's Player, didn't work out.
That was like film character or?
Sorry?
What was it? Was it a character from a film or
no,
anime?
It's like dunk as in basketball, when you physically dunk the basketball in the hoop.
That's not a nickname for anyone. Okay,
no,
great.
I mean it was my nickname at the point.
Yes, great.
But because it was like Dr. Dunk, everyone read it as Dr. Drunk.
Okay.
Which wasn't really applicable since I was like 15 at the time.
Okay, great.
And when I moved more to tech, I renamed that to Tech Dunk. And when I started my game development channel, it was Dev Dunk, and I just kind of want to continue the trend of including the basketball theme everywhere.
Cool.
So most of the logos also have a like small Easter egg with a basketball somewhere.
Yeah, I see. Cool.
So it's nice to keep that kind of alive.
It can be about the company or your personal creations at this 2025 summer. What are you building right now?
At the moment, I'm next to the tools and the YouTube videos. I'm working on a small VR experience where you can learn French. So it's in collaboration with a French teacher who is just doing this on her own, basically, starting it up. And we're currently building a small bakery where you can basically order a bread or a croissant or something, and kind of have that interaction. It's nice to have that more visually than just talking to your teacher, since it's always a bit awkward when you role play like that. So it's really nice to just be there at the digital location than in a VR headset and just talk how you would talk when you order something in France.
Yeah, exactly. When you go to Paris, you can know that, I did that in VR.
Yeah.
Great. So this is what you are working on right now, and then does this have a timeline? How can people find it on, like how people can find your work on internet? Is there a better place to find you?
My work is primarily on my website, so that's dunktechnologies.com. And next to this project itself, it probably will be tested towards the start of next school year, since right now all the schools are basically done. And after that, we're probably going to see how to roll it out and if we can get some funding from wherever. Especially in education, there are quite some funding rounds, so that's nice. So for this project itself, I'm not sure when exactly it becomes public.
Yes, okay. That's not about super confidential, great.
No, it's not confidential, like it's just, we like to work on it.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Thank you. I want to ask, I have two more questions. One of them is that what are you building for your future self from today?
Sorry?
What are you building for your future self, for future Dylan from today? What do you see that like now extended reality always has been, this is the year of extended reality and we've been promised each year.
In 3 years it will be mainstream.
Yeah, okay, great, yes. And we all have smart glasses and everything. And how do you see the industry is changing? And how are you preparing yourself to do these changes?
I think how it's changing is that it's mainly going to be more involved with the real world. It sounds a bit floaty, but like mixed reality is now becoming quite big, and I expect that augmented reality glasses, when they become small enough that it's not that different from a regular pair of glasses, that it will be used more in daily life, and that's where it really starts to take off more. And it's also going to get more attention back to VR, since people are already using environments, immersive environments and stuff like that. So I think once people start to use it more, it will become bigger in general. And right now I see it primarily climbing in the more private sector, so businesses using it for training and stuff like that, and education.
There was a company had a t-shirt in the back, it was saying extended reality was making dangerous things safe, expensive things cheap. That was really fun to
Yeah,
way to
fair.
have
Also an
to
example with
classify.
HKU, they had a study where many people needed to go until letters on their internship to make art. And a lot of people just found out at their internship that they were afraid of heights. And they started testing that in a VR environment so they could test it before their internship if they were afraid of heights. It's also something that you can just practice it safely and cheaply, so you don't have to cancel a whole internship
Yeah.
and you can't fall off a ladder.
Yeah.
So it was a
really
nice
cool.
example to test it out
Yeah.
easily.
If a person is thinking about becoming an extended reality development route, what would you suggest to them? Maybe they're in high school and they are thinking about what to do. And do you have a suggestion for young people?
I think the biggest thing is to get started and build something. Like an easy way for me to get started with smaller projects is hackathons. You don't need to have coding experience since you can work together in a team with people who can code. And you can just have your creative input in what you want to make. So hackathons and stuff like that is really nice to grow, and it's also easy that at the end of it you do have a portfolio piece. It might not be finished or released, but you do have something to show. You always have to need to have a trailer so you can actually physically show it to people. So I think that is really big. And other than that, just be consistent in what you do, since the industry is still quite small. So if you just show up to hackathons and other events, it is relatively easy to build up a name for yourself. Since the community is still relatively small, so you start to know people quite quickly and they can redirect other people to you, and
Yeah, that's
it's quite
really
a nice
good.
network.
Yay. So this is Bubbles interviews, and I have something. These are bubbles. Please
Nice.
take one and then we make bubbles, and I will ask the last question. So this, I think you know
You
the
have a
answer
fancy one.
already. Yes, I do this all the time. So, so this is the question: is, do you remember when people ask you when you were a child? They ask, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" But do you remember your answer? What was it?
There were many. There were some I don't remember. Does this work?
Yeah,
it
that's
does.
also work.
First off, I wanted to be a farmer since I really liked animals.
Okay, great.
That went by quite quickly. Then for a while, I don't know why, I wanted to be a business owner.
Okay, great.
Just very like nothing else.
Okay.
Just sounded nice at the moment.
You are a business owner right now.
Yeah.
Great.
It's also while I was studying, I was also like, oh, I can like work somewhere and then have my business on the side, and now I'm just doing it full time since it's easier that way. I wanted to be a sporting teacher for some time since I really like sports and still do.
In summer 2025, you do calisthenics.
Yeah, calisthenics and also basketball still.
Okay, cool. So
And
that was the sports teacher, and then
yeah, and then afterwards, I really didn't know what to do with my life. There was nothing that really made me enthusiastic. And then I saw a small lecture of game design from BUAS in Breda. And I was like, I can see myself doing that. And then I applied to BUAS and HKU, and I decided to choose HKU. So it's been since more small scale. And then I really fell in love with it.
Yay.
So it wasn't even that I was fully motivated to do it from the start. It was just, I really started loving it once I started doing it.
that's really nice. Thank you for being a guest in the Bubbles interviews.
You're very welcome.
Have a nice day too.
Doei.